When we think of jealousy, we often imagine something obvious, someone rolling their eyes when we succeed, openly criticizing us, or making it clear they dislike us. But real jealousy, it's rarely that loud. Jealousy moves in the shadows. It doesn't walk up to you and say, "Hey, I'm jealous of you." Instead, it whispers in the form of passive-aggressive comments, cold stares, and subtle digs. It's the friend who never claps when you win. It's the coworker who forgets to mention your contributions in a group project. It's the relative who dismisses your success with a casual, "That's nice." It's not direct, it's strategic. Jealousy operates like an undercurrent, just beneath the surface. It doesn't show up as open hostility. It shows up as doubt. It makes you question, did I do something wrong? Am I imagining things? That's because the person who's jealous rarely wants to admit it even to themselves. Instead of confronting their own feelings, they deflect them onto you. Think about it. When someone is genuinely happy for you, their joy is loud. They celebrate you, cheer you on, and make sure you know they're in your corner. But when someone is jealous, their silence is deafening, their energy shifts, their congratulations feel forced, or worse, they don't come at all. Jealousy is really loud because loudness would mean taking ownership of their feelings. And most people don't want to admit that they're struggling with envy. Instead, they choose the quiet route, the snide remarks, the dismissive attitude, the sudden coldness. But here's what you need to know. Their jealousy is not your burden to carry. You don't have to shrink yourself just because someone else is uncomfortable with your shine. You don't have to apologize for your success. You don't have to play small to protect someone else's ego. Jealousy may be silent, but your confidence, that should be loud. Keep moving forward. Keep shining. The right people will celebrate with you, not resent you. One of the most insidious ways jealousy shows up is through backhanded compliments. On the surface, they may seem like compliments, but when you dig deeper, you realize they're laced with passive aggression and hidden negativity, the kind of subtle sabotage that can make you question your worth, even when no clear insult has been made. Imagine someone telling you, "Wow, you look great today. I didn't know you could pull off that look." It sounds positive at first, right? But when you break it down, it's not a pure compliment. It's an acknowledgement that in their mind, you usually don't look great or stylish. That slight pause, that implied comparison suggests they didn't think you could achieve what you just did. They've complimented you, yes, but they've also minimized your usual style, made you feel like your success is somehow unexpected. Backhanded compliments are rooted in jealousy because they create a space where the person can't just acknowledge your success without undermining it at the same time. They want to put you in a position where you feel grateful for their acknowledgement, but also small, almost as if you don't quite deserve it. Another common form of backhanded compliments is when someone says, "I wish I had your confidence. I could never pull that off like you do." While it sounds like admiration, there's a hidden message there. "You're brave, but I could never be like you." It's a general reminder that they see you as different, more capable, more attractive, or more bold. And they envy that. Instead of genuinely praising you, they set themselves apart, reinforcing the idea that your abilities or qualities are unique in a way that makes them feel lesser. Minimization plays a similar role. It's not an outright insult, but more like a soft push to make your achievement seem insignificant. For example, when you share a major accomplishment like landing a new job or completing a big project, someone might respond with, "It's not like it's that hard to get hired these days." Or, "I mean, anyone could do that if they just put in the time." At first glance, these statements might seem neutral or even encouraging, but the underlying message is clear. You didn't do anything special. They're trying to take away the significance of what you've achieved, minimizing the effort you put in. In their eyes, your success wasn't earned. It's just luck or timing or something anyone could achieve if they just tried a little harder. This is often a defense mechanism. When someone is jealous, they can't stand to see you succeed because it highlights their own perceived shortcomings. So instead of celebrating your achievements, they try to shrink them down to size. They'll try to make it seem like your hard work doesn't matter or that it wasn't a big deal to begin with. This minimization allows them to feel better about their own lack of success, while keeping your triumph from feeling too threatening. It's important to remember that backhanded compliments and minimization are not reflections of you. They're reflections of the insecurities the other person is trying to hide. One of the most confusing signs of jealousy is when someone begins to imitate you. On the surface, imitation might seem like flattery, a sign that they admire something about you. After all, when someone copies the way you dress, the ideas you share, or the way you carry yourself, it can feel like a compliment. But when jealousy is at play, imitation becomes a silent form of competition. The jealous person won't admit it, of course. They'll never come out and say, I love your style and I want to be just like you. Instead, they quietly adopt your behaviors, your looks, your actions, and pretend it was their idea all along. The mimicry is subtle enough that it can go unnoticed by others. But if you pay close attention, you'll start to see it. You might notice a colleague starting to wear the same color palette you've been favoring for months, or a friend who used to have a completely different aesthetic suddenly adopting a style that mirrors yours down to the smallest details. They might even start copying the way you speak, using your catchphrases, or adopting opinions you've expressed publicly as if they've always felt that way. They are essentially becoming a reflection of you, but without ever acknowledging where the influence came from. This is where the jealousy shows up. Rather than being open about their admiration, the jealous person feels the need to erase your influence. They refuse to give credit where credit is due because doing so would require them to admit that they look up to you or feel threatened by your uniqueness. They don't want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that you've inspired them, and they can't have that. They will present your ideas as if they were their own, using them to their advantage. And only when others praise them for it will they smile quietly and say, oh, it's just something I've been thinking about for a while. There's no acknowledgement of where the inspiration came from, no recognition of your influence. They'll act as if they arrived at those thoughts and styles independently, when in reality, they've been following your lead all along. This type of imitation can even extend beyond superficial aspects like fashion or speech patterns into the more intangible parts of your identity. Perhaps you've always been the one to advocate for certain causes or share a specific vision with your community. At first, the jealous person may resist aligning with you, maybe even dismissing your ideas as impractical or silly. But over time, you'll see them championing the same causes, echoing your message, and most tellingly, presenting themselves as the original voice on those issues. It's frustrating, especially when you're aware of the copycat behavior, and yet they refuse to acknowledge that they've been inspired by you. This form of jealousy is rooted in insecurity, a need to make the other person feel small or insignificant. Even while they're secretly trying to emulate them, the jealous person wants to be seen as a leader in their own right, but struggles to come up with something original. Instead of using your ideas as inspiration and giving credit where it's due, they try to act as if those ideas were birthed from their own mind, hoping to gain the same recognition you received. What's even more telling is how this imitation will often come with a sense of competition. The jealous person may adopt your style or ideas, but will attempt to tweak them slightly, making them appear better or more refined in their eyes. It's a subtle game of one-upmanship. I can do this too, and I'll do it better than you. They might see themselves as improving on what you've done, but really it's a way of making themselves feel superior to you while still staying in your shadow. This behavior isn't about admiration, it's about control. The jealous person wants to maintain a sense of power by constantly measuring themselves against you. If they can mimic you and gain the same praise and recognition, they feel like they've taken some of your light without having to acknowledge you as the source. It's also a sign of their own insecurity. They don't have the confidence to pave their own path, so they latch onto yours, hoping that somehow they can absorb your success by mirroring your every move. The jealous person doesn't see your success as something to celebrate or learn from. They see it as something to diminish, something they need to make their own. While imitation can be flattering in some situations, when it's rooted in jealousy, it's a form of emotional manipulation. It's a way for the jealous person to stay connected to your energy without giving you credit or allowing you to see the power you hold in shaping their actions. It's a quiet competition where they are constantly measuring themselves against you, all while refusing to acknowledge that you are the spark that ignited their attempts. One of the most subtle yet deeply painful signs of jealousy is when someone quietly celebrates your failures and competes fiercely with your successes. At first glance, this behavior can be incredibly confusing. After all, if someone is truly a friend or ally, they should be there to support you during both your highs and lows. But when jealousy is at play, the dynamics shift in a way that leaves you feeling unsupported and at times even betrayed. The person who is jealous of you doesn't celebrate your growth. They don't take genuine pleasure in seeing you succeed, nor do they share in your triumphs. Instead, they're often silent during your victories, perhaps offering a forced, lukewarm compliment, or worse, they may say nothing at all. Their lack of enthusiasm speaks volumes. They're not happy for you. In fact, they might even feel threatened by your achievements. However, when the situation shifts and you face challenges, setbacks, or failures, that's when they begin to take notice. They may not shout it from the rooftops, but in their own subtle way, they revel in your misfortune. It might be in the form of a small, barely noticeable comment, "I knew you were pushing too hard," or a slight smirk when you make a mistake. It's never outright malicious, but it's that little moment where you sense that deep down, they're pleased to see you stumble. This type of jealousy thrives on comparison, but not in the way you might expect. Rather than cheering for you, the jealous person competes with you in the quietest, most underhanded way. They don't want to celebrate your success because it forces them to face the gap between where you are and where they wish they could be. Your accomplishments remind them of their own perceived shortcomings. And instead of acknowledging that, they push you down in their mind, hoping to diminish the significance of what you've achieved. But when it comes to your failures, suddenly they're all too eager to offer commentary. They'll act like they knew all along that things wouldn't work out for you. They'll take advantage of your vulnerability, perhaps even offering unsolicited advice or pointing out where you went wrong, all while masking their satisfaction with a subtle smile. It's not about helping you. It's about confirming that you're not as invincible as you seem. This quiet celebration of your failures often comes with a sense of schadenfreude, the pleasure derived from seeing others' misfortunes. It can be a look of relief on their face when you're knocked down a peg, or a slight jab that on the surface appears to be friendly banter, but in truth carries an underlying sense of triumph. When you succeed, they compete. When you fail, they take comfort in it. This is where the competition truly manifests. It's in the way the jealous person responds to your successes versus your setbacks. When you accomplish something remarkable, whether it's a promotion, a public recognition, or simply achieving a personal goal, they feel the need to rise to the occasion. They won't celebrate you, but they will work twice as hard to match, surpass, or outshine you. It's not about partnership or shared success. It's about one-upmanship. They may take your ideas, twist them into their own version, and push forward, never acknowledging the influence you had on their actions. The message is clear. I have to keep up. I can't let them get too far ahead of me. This competition doesn't stem from admiration. It stems from a deep-seated need to outdo you, to prove they can do what you've done, only better. The more you succeed, the more they feel the pressure to outpace you. They might even start mimicking your moves, adopting your strategies, or copying your actions, but always with an eye towards surpassing you. But here's where the jealousy really gets tangled. As much as they compete with your successes, they cannot genuinely celebrate them. They're caught in a cycle of constant comparison, where your progress only serves to highlight their own perceived inadequacies. They never allow themselves to genuinely applaud your achievements because in their mind, it's not a moment of joy, it's a moment of discomfort, a reminder that they are still in pursuit of something they feel they may never reach. And yet, when you fail, when you fall short or face challenges, their reactions shift. They don't offer support. Instead, they step back, satisfied with the fact that you've stumbled. Their quiet celebration doesn't come from a place of kindness, but from a place of relief, as though your downfall makes them feel less threatened, less small. They can't afford to be happy for you, so instead they find peace in your struggles. This behavior is especially toxic because it manipulates the emotional landscape between you and the jealous person. You may be left feeling isolated, unsure of whether your struggles are being used as a silent victory for them or if your successes are met with resentment. It forces you into a place where you cannot truly trust their intentions. Are they your friend, your ally, or are they quietly measuring their progress against yours? The real pain comes when you realize that this dynamic is rarely acknowledged by the jealous person. They don't see their behavior for what it is. They might justify it by telling themselves they're just being realistic or practical, dismissing the emotional toll their actions take on you. And because their celebration of your failures is so subtle, it becomes even harder to confront. You may begin to second guess yourself, wondering if you're reading too much into their reactions. But deep down, you know your achievements are overshadowed by their competition and your struggles are quietly enjoyed. This pattern of quiet celebration and fierce competition is an insidious form of jealousy because it wears the mask of concern, of casualness, of even friendship. But the truth lies in the spaces between their words, in the way they react when you triumph and when you fall. It's a jealousy that doesn't announce itself with loud, overt hostility, but instead works its way into the emotional fabric of your relationships, distorting them and creating a divide that's hard to cross. One of the most common and dangerous forms of jealousy is when it is masked as concern, often in the form of rumors and gossip. At first, it can be easy to believe that the person spreading rumors about you is just trying to help or show that they care. After all, how could someone be jealous of you when they're supposedly looking out for your best interest? But the reality is far more insidious. Behind that veil of concern lies jealousy, and it's this very jealousy that often fuels the gossip and rumors that are so damaging. At its core, jealousy thrives on comparison. It festers when someone feels inadequate or threatened by another person's success, happiness, or progress. The jealous person cannot stand to see you grow, achieve, or be celebrated. And if they can't match your success or achieve it themselves, they may resort to a form of indirect sabotage. Instead of confronting their feelings or acknowledging their envy, they try to undermine you through rumors and gossip, all while pretending that their motivations are rooted in care and concern. This form of jealousy often starts in a seemingly harmless conversation, a comment here, a question there, wrapped in the guise of just wanting to know or looking out for you. The jealous person might ask questions about your relationship, your career, or your personal life under the pretense of being concerned. But their real motivation is not to help you, but to gather information they can twist into something negative. Once they have the details, they'll spread them, distorting the truth to fit their narrative. The jealousy seeps into every word they share, whether it's about your accomplishments, your relationships, or the way you live your life. They twist your actions into something less admirable, less deserving of praise. For example, if you've recently achieved a significant milestone, like a promotion at work or a personal success, the jealous person might start talking about how you only got there because of favoritism, or it must have been an easy ride for you. You don't know the real struggle. These are not comments made out of concern or support. They are a way for the jealous person to downplay your achievements, to make them seem less impressive or valid. They disguise their jealousy by pretending to be concerned for your well-being, suggesting that perhaps you've gone too far too fast or may not be ready for the pressure that comes with success. The problem with gossip and rumors disguised as concern is that it can start to make others doubt you. The jealous person may claim that they are just trying to protect you from the consequences of your success, but what they're really doing is planting seeds of doubt in the minds of others. They want to make you appear weak, unworthy, or undeserving of the success you've earned. They'll twist your actions and intentions to make others question your character, your motives, and your worth. It's not just your achievements they target either. Sometimes they may spread rumors about your personal life, your relationships, or your friendships, anything that could weaken your standing in the eyes of others. If you're happy in a relationship, they may spread gossip about how you're too dependent or could do better. If you've made a new friend group or changed social circles, they may imply that you're just trying to fit in or using people to climb the social ladder. This kind of gossip, wrapped in concern, is an attack on your identity. It seeks to chip away at your self-confidence, subtly undermining your sense of worth. Behind this gossip is often a desperate attempt to level the playing field. The jealous person knows they can't outdo you, so they try to pull you down to their level. By creating doubt about your success, they make it harder for you to enjoy your victories. They disguise their bitterness and envy as concern, as if they care about your well-being, when in fact, they're only interested in diminishing your shine. And it doesn't stop there. Gossip and rumors also function as a form of power. By spreading these negative stories about you, the jealous person can position themselves as the one who knows the truth, the one who sees through the facade that everyone else has missed. They want to feel superior, as if they've uncovered something that others are blind to. It's an attempt to control the narrative, to reshape how people see you so that your successes no longer look so admirable. Instead, they want others to see you as flawed, undeserving, or even fake. Sometimes this gossip can feel like a slow, quiet erosion of your reputation. It doesn't usually come in the form of one big glaring rumor. Instead, it's a collection of small whispers, little distortions that add up over time. It's the, oh, I heard she's been acting really arrogant lately, or Have you noticed he's been getting a little too comfortable with success? These subtle jabs disguised as concern are meant to make you feel like your every move is being scrutinized, that your victories are somehow tainted by doubt. The hardest part is that it's often difficult to confront this kind of jealousy. After all, the jealous person is masking their bitterness behind a thin veil of concern. If you call them out for spreading rumors or gossiping, they can easily turn the situation around and make it look like you're the one who's overreacting or not taking their concerns seriously. They make it seem like they're just looking out for you, even as they undermine everything you worked for. Ultimately, gossip and rumors fueled by jealousy are a way for the jealous person to manipulate perceptions. They want to reshape how others see you, and in doing so, make themselves feel better about their own insecurities. They can't stand to see you succeed without diminishing your accomplishments. And by pretending that they're concerned for your well-being, they get to keep up the facade of being a friend while quietly eroding your reputation. This kind of jealousy is incredibly toxic because it is so hidden. It isn't an overt form of aggression, but a quiet, insidious campaign to make you feel small. When you hear rumors or gossip, it's important to recognize that the underlying motivation is rarely about truth or care. It's about control, comparison, and the need to elevate one's own self-worth at the expense of someone else's. In a world that constantly tells us to be humble, to shrink back, and to tone ourselves down, it's easy to forget one of the most important truths we can hold. You don't need to dim your light for others. Society often conditions us to believe that our brightness is too much, that our success is too loud, or that our confidence might make others uncomfortable. But let me remind you, your light was never meant to be dim. It was meant to shine boldly and brilliantly, no matter what others may think or how they may react. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you felt the need to hide parts of yourself to make others feel more comfortable? Maybe it was a moment when you achieved something significant, and instead of celebrating it, you felt the urge to downplay your success, to hide it in the shadows, just so you wouldn't make others feel inadequate. Or perhaps it was when you wore an outfit that made you feel confident, only to pull back because someone made a comment that made you question whether it was too much. It happens. We've all been there. But the truth is, your light doesn't exist to serve the comfort of others. It exists to illuminate your path and inspire those who need it. When you dim your light, you are essentially sacrificing your authenticity and your worth. You shrink yourself to fit into a mold that isn't designed for you. You reduce the magnitude of your true potential in an attempt to blend in, to conform, to keep others from feeling threatened by your shine. But here's the reality. When you do this, you are not helping anyone. You're not making others feel better by diminishing yourself. Instead, you're telling yourself that your brilliance is something to apologize for, that the parts of you that are meant to inspire, uplift, and shine brightly should be hidden away, and that's a disservice to you and to the world around you. Your light is a reflection of everything that makes you unique. It's a combination of your passions, your skills, your experiences, and your unwavering belief in yourself, even when the world doesn't always seem to understand it. Every time you dim that light, you are ignoring the very essence of who you are. The world doesn't need more people who are afraid to stand out, to speak up, to take up space. The world needs more people who are willing to unapologetically embrace their true selves and share that brilliance with others. You have a gift, and by dimming your light, you deny the world the opportunity to experience it. But let's be real. It's not always easy to let your light shine. We live in a society that often rewards modesty and conformity over authenticity and boldness. From a young age, we're taught to be good in the eyes of others, to avoid drawing attention to ourselves, to keep our successes low key and our opinions in check. The messages we receive are clear. Don't be too loud. Don't stand out too much. Don't take up too much space. But those who truly make a difference in the world aren't the ones who play small or shrink back in fear. They're the ones who show up fully, boldly, and unapologetically as themselves. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are they are the ones who dared to live authentically, to follow their own path, and to embrace their individuality. They didn't shrink in the face of judgment or criticism. Instead, they kept going, kept shining, even when others may have tried to dim their light. They were willing to be themselves in a world that often tries to tell us that we're too much. And because of that, they inspire us, challenge us, encourage us to do the same. When you allow yourself to shine, you become a beacon of possibility for others. You show them what's possible when someone chooses to embrace their full potential. And yes, it may not always be comfortable. Some people might not understand it. Others may feel threatened by it. And some may even try to dim your light in their own way. But here's the thing. Their attempts to dim you are not a reflection of your worth. They're a reflection of their own insecurities, their own fears, and their own inability to embrace their own light. By dimming your light, you give power to their insecurities. You allow their fear to dictate how you show up in the world. But when you refuse to dim your light, you take that power back. You choose to shine not for the approval of others, but for yourself. You choose to honor your journey, your growth, and your unique contribution to this world. You choose to stand tall in the face of judgment and let your brilliance be seen because you know that your light has value. You know that you were never meant to hide, to shrink, or to be anything other than the fullest expression of yourself. The world is waiting for you to show up as the person you were always meant to be. When you let your light shine, you give permission for others to do the same. You show them that it's possible to be unapologetically you, even when the world tells you to be less. And when you do that, you create a ripple effect of confidence and authenticity that touches everyone you encounter. So no matter where you are in your journey, no matter how hard it feels, never forget you do not need to dim your light for anyone. Keep shining. Let your brilliance be seen, felt, and experienced by the world. The world needs your light. The world deserves to see you as you are, bold, beautiful, and unapologetically you. Your light is not just for you. It's for everyone around you who needs to see the possibilities of what happens when you refuse to shrink, when you embrace your full potential, and when you stand tall in the face of fear. Don't let anyone tell you that your brightness is too much, because it's not. The world needs people who are willing to stand in their truth, who aren't afraid to shine brightly and boldly, no matter what anyone else thinks. Keep shining and let your light lead the way. In the end, remember this: your light is yours, and it is meant to shine brightly in this world. Don't let anyone convince you that you need to make yourself smaller to make them more comfortable. The world needs your full brilliance, your unapologetic presence, your authenticity. When you dim your light, you're not just holding back your own potential, you're denying the world the chance to see the unique gift that only you can offer. So stand tall, be bold, be unapologetically yourself. Keep shining no matter what. Your light is not a mistake. It is a powerful force that can inspire, uplift, and illuminate paths for others. And by choosing to shine, you give permission for others to do the same. Together, we can create a world where no one feels the need to shrink or hide, but instead feels empowered to show up fully in all their brilliance. Keep shining always and without apology.